Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to mattsteinway.com. Yes, microphone's in. I've come down to see Jason Boon again by popular demand. He's had an amazing amount of traffic on his first video, and I've got to remind you, Jason, you've got to stick to 15 minutes.
Okay, mate.
Alright. Because you and I can talk for a long time. Yeah. Mate, I just want to, thanks for doing this again, sequel. Do you charge much extra for twice?
No, mate, no. Nice dress will do. Just buy me dress.
Mate, I want to take a peek into your upper end world.
Okay.
Is there any, what do you do in a listing presentation? Like, do you actually do anything different, or is it conversational?
I think, probably to answer, I do things differently now.
Yeah.
Obviously to get into the bigger listings and price point listings, but it was, I had to build a profile and have all the glossy brochures and facts and figures, but now it's a bit different. So
how is it?
It's different. It's different in the sense that you don't get the listings unless you've got the knowledge.
Right.
Okay. So you need to know who lives where, what apartments are what prices they are, what rates per square metre, what strata details been going on. You need to know the area. You need to know referrals, all these sorts of things need to be in place for you to go and have a conversation that owns with a client that owns that sort of real estate. You can't just walk in and wing it or come up with facts and figures. You've got to know your stuff. You've got to know your patch. You've got to know prices. You've got to, now when I enter into a listing appraisal now, that's in a higher price range, I suppose I've got a track record, which is...
Was that hard to get?
Do you know what? I don't recall the hard to get part of it, although I imagine it would have been. Now that I'm sort of getting more of them, I've sort of forgotten, but I do know it was, I did have to bust my balls to get into those listings, and I pushed and pushed and built a profile, and then one happened, then two happened, then three happened, and then it just snowballed. Yeah. So I believe it was really hard actually. It took a couple of years, but I don't recall the actual. I couldn't tell you when it switched. I think there's one apartment down the road here that I sold with a bridge and opera house view, and it was quite an incredible photograph that we got for it. And there was a lot of talk about that sale. We got a very high price. It was back 3 years ago. And I leveraged from that sale. So to get that listing, which was a high price listing, I did do a lot of work, like a 1 year relationship with that client before they gave me that listing. Right. So I was just building relationships, and then it just happened that I got the relationship with a bigger end property.
So did it naturally happen, or did you choose it to happen? Like, did you say, I want to go for the upper end, or did you just sort of did a good job, and ended up meeting more people?
I just wanted more money, mate. Wanted more money. What happened is I probably had a visual. I visualised wanting to sell the good apartments, and I wanted to stand there and sell them. I wanted to. I didn't see why I couldn't do it.
Yeah, because you've got the biggest profile in this area. We're in Potts Point, King's Cross area.
Yeah.
And who would be
King's Cross?
Yeah, King's Cross. Yeah. But you'd be on parallel with Toowoomba, say.
Oh no,
Double Bay, wouldn't you?
He's got more claret down there and bigger properties and things, but I suppose we do okay. Well, I wouldn't say you've got that big. Well, he's been doing it a very long time. And
well, put it this way: what's the most expensive apartment you've sold?
I sold one for $20 million.
There you go. It's pretty good.
But I mean, I've sold $500,000 apartments. I've got 4 of those listed now. So it's I don't stick in one. I do it all. I'll do smaller stuff and bigger stuff, and
Well, that was the question I was going to ask you. Do you specialise in upper end?
I'm more knowledgeable in the upper end. I notice when I'm going to the apartments under $1 million, I'm not as well educated in them. But I've got Jeff and Anne that work for me, and Reese, and they're really well educated in that price range. So I lean on them, and they're part of my little team. But I do those sales. It's all bread and butter. I don't avoid them. And at the moment, the upper end of the market isn't as good as it was. So I need to focus on the middle end of the market and the lower end of the market to get some money. I still get away some of the high stuff, but it's certainly not as regular. It used to be very regular, and it's not now. So.
Do you send a pre-list kit?
I don't.
You don't?
Sorry.
Interesting. No, mate, it works for you.
I don't. if it's someone I don't really know that knows a bit about the situation and who I am and what I've done, I will send them some recent sales.
Right.
I don't want to turn it into this big performance before I get there. I do want to. I'm more touchy. I want to be there in front of them. Okay. So I want to be there, in the living room with them, person to person, talking about what we can do and what's being done, and just finding out what page they're on and where they want to go and whether I can work with their visual and what they want to achieve. I like all that going in the living room. I like being in the living room, being me, talking to them about what we can do.
Do you follow up?
I'm a mad follow-up. I do follow up. I could write something. I could write someone's name down on a page every day to visualise phoning them, and I'm thinking about them all the time. So I think they know I'm thinking about them. They probably don't, but that's what I think. And I do follow up all the time. So as far as once I've got a sniff of a listing, I'm nuts. So I'm into it. I'm talking. I'm sending emails. I'm getting Anne to follow up with things. I'm referring them to properties. I'm doing everything that I need to do to get that listing.
Right.
Okay. I don't over push it, but I give them as much knowledge and as much visual that they can achieve or they can take for the process to be easy for them to see.
So if you've got a listing that's coming up and you're hot on the trail, is there anything that you do in particular to make them say, well, Jason's the one I want to go with? Like, what sort of stuff do you ring them with? Do you ring them? Do you send them letters?
Mate, look, as I said, once I'm in front of someone and we're talking about the property that we're in, I'll know a lot about that property. I'll know a lot about that building. I know a lot about the area, and I've got a track record of what I've sold. It's really difficult to beat that.
Definitely. I mean, what about when you've left their house?
When I've left the place, it'll be dependent on what that relationship's like.
Right.
All the relationships now, I take them as each individual relationship. There's no set way that I'll deal with someone. When I leave, I'll like to come back and sit with them a second time. I do like to get in front of them.
Okay.
I don't just.
Again. So if they say, Jace, I just want to think about it. I think you're a really good bloke.
I want to come back.
I want to see some other agents. Do you try and get back again?
I'll try and set a situation where we can sit down and go through some more stuff. Whether that be the marketing, the advertising, the way of selling it. I will go through that. I don't bombard them too much while I'm in there. I don't like emails. I don't hide behind the email. I either make the phone call or get face to face.
Right.
I'm not big on emails. Some people are. If I need to email information, I will, but I won't develop a relationship via email. Full stop. Just won't happen.
Right.
I'm straight into the telephone, creating visuals about what I can do for them in their property. And I'm straight on to meeting them again. And I might change it up, meet me in my office, meet them in the coffee shop across the road in Potts Point, whatever it is. Can we sit down one more time and go through it, because I've got some more information. When I was last in front of you, I was like a performing seal. I had to try and get your listing. I've had some time to think about it. I want to talk to you again. Whatever you need to do.
That's awesome. I love that. Is that a script, a dialogue?
No, I just thought that one up. Alright, we've got set it down.
Mate, for people that are sort of finding their way in the industry that are watching this right now, any negotiation tips?
I sort of went on this last time. The negotiation is to be yourself. When dealing with a client. I mean, they'll sense that. To be yourself. I've said this 100 times. Be a person first, a real estate agent second. And then they know you're working for them. Out of a raw basic. If you're playing games and creating too much dialogue and blah 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 blah, it can get a bit slippery, that slope. Negotiating, I think it's very important to create visuals for each client to be connected, and if that doesn't work, adjust it again. I spoke about that last time.
Do you think if a client's connected, like you're saying, they'll listen to you easier?
It's hard if you don't have the knowledge of your area and you know everything and you know what's sold and what rate. You can't argue with that when you're negotiating. So it's difficult for a guy who's selling a whole floor apartment down the road here for $7.5 million when I sold the one upstairs for $8, who's got a better view to say to me, look, I want $8.5 for it. It's impossible. So you use knowledge, the reality of the situation and who you are to get across, you know, where the leverage and where the marketplace is. It's not difficult. I like using third person when negotiating. I don't like pushing my opinion on people. So the marketplace is dictating this. People have said this. We've had a report back from this.
Yeah.
The apartment, have you gone and seen the one down the road? It's similar to yours. It just sold for 7.2. So it's probably going to be hard, Mr. Jones, to get 7.5. But go and have a look. It's open on the wall. Use other things. You don't have to just get down on the phone and be, you know, a cheap negotiator and say, listen, you know, we've only got 7. You're going to have to take this. Otherwise, you're never going to miss out. It's never going to be there again. Got to use better skills than that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean by that?
Definitely. No, 100%, mate. Yes, hours that you work. I'm sure a lot of people are going, how many hours does he work?
The hours that I work.
Why do you write such big figures? Do you work a lot of hours, or do you work?
I did work a lot of hours. I don't work as hard now. I do work still long hours. I'm in the office 6 days a week.
Yeah.
Occasionally I'll take a half day off. And honestly, if I get time and the surf's pumping, I'll sneak into work early, do a lot of work, and I'll take off for an hour and come back sometimes. And that doesn't happen often, viewers, but sometimes it does. So, I mean, I'm there when the business is there. And sometimes I do need a break. I just got to feel that out for myself. It's just like anything else, you know. Times when you need time to yourself, and there's times when you can, you know, press the button and go. So, it's still pretty. It's not over the top, but it's still working consistently. It's more important to work consistently than work one day 12 hours and the next day 6. Consistently, each day when the work's there, and the timing of the call, the timing of the meeting, everything's got to be, you know, it's planning your day properly. You can do many things when you plan your day properly.
There lies the question. Hey, last question. If you're number 1 in Richardson event still, right?
Yeah.
Have been for a few years. If people watching this want to be number 1,
and in their what?
In their company, like whether it's their office, their company, or their brand, you know.
Yeah, I didn't really think. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, well, you obviously got there. So,
yeah.
What bit of advice could you give them to shoot for that goal?
Oh, just each day. Just come in each day and do what needs to be done to be a good agent.
That's it.
Yeah, like, I mean, I can complicate this, but
pretty simple.
Yeah, come in, be an asset to your company. Don't be a liability. Be an asset. Okay, and look for the ways that you can make it happen. Don't look for, oh, but I haven't got this and there's no computer on my desk. You know, if you want to have things happen for yourself, you make them happen. You happen and find a way. You find a way. You find a way, and each day you come in and do the next right thing as an agent or as a person being an agent, whatever you want to call it. One foot in front of the other each day, consistent. Do the right thing and build relationships. You need to build relationships in your core area, because that's what gets you sales, that's what gets you business, that's what gets you centered in a place. You build relationships. You don't sit back and look for reasons why you're not succeeding. Build relationships with everyone in your area. As many as you can do, whether they make you money or not.
A lot of wisdom in that, guys. I really hope you take notice of what Jay says. Like he is outstanding at what he does, and even though he might seem a bit humble about it, he writes massive figures. He's been in a long time. He's in a super competitive area. He does a lot of things that, you know, you should do to achieve great results. Jay, thanks.
No worries.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. All right, everyone. Look forward to seeing you on the next video.